David Penn. David is a graduate of Drexel Event. He has a BS degree in accounting. He went on to get his MBA at Wharton. He is the Executive Vice President and Director of Wealth Management Systems at Janney Montgomery Scott. He holds a CPA and a CFA. We just reconnected with David this the last 2 years. He's now on the Dean's Advisory Board. He's just somebody who just, ask him something, he says, yeah, sure, I'll do it. I'll do this. I'll be here tonight. I'll go to a dinner the next couple of weeks. It's not a problem at all. So again, this is what makes this job and it makes working in a university so great, because you deal with people like David and you get to know them a little better, and you're always talking about their experiences at Drexel, and their experiences are, each one is different. So with that, David, I want to thank you first of all for agreeing to come tonight. You and your wife, Lois, Lisa, I'm sorry. And please help me welcome David Penn.
Thank you. I have 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So I was talking to my mother on the phone today. I'm from Baltimore originally. She lives in Baltimore, and she said, "So what are you doing tonight?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to this Drexel event, and the Dean Linehan, thank you for inviting me. This is a true honor. Called me up and asked me if I would be the ambassador." And she says, "The ambassador? So you're like Caroline Kennedy?" and I, Caroline Kennedy, ambassador to Japan. And I'm like, "Mom, we have nothing in common. Believe me." So, but leave it to my mother to make that connection. So it's great to be here. I started Drexel in the fall of 1977. I was living in Van Wren Hall. I don't know if that's still the norm now, on Powhatan Avenue. And right behind me was this radical group called Move. And at the time, Frank Rizzo was the mayor of Philadelphia, and that house was surrounded by probably 20 Philadelphia policemen on horseback. And I could not walk out of the front door, nobody could, we had to go out the back door. So that was my initial introduction to Drexel. And it was all downhill sledding from there. It was really good, it was really good. So, but the reason I came to Drexel originally was the co-op program. I was not a great student in high school, but good enough to get into Drexel, but I loved working, and I was interested in accounting and numbers and things like that. And I got in and I figured, okay, this is going to be good. I'll come to school, I'll do okay, and I'll get a really good job. So I'm on campus for 3 weeks. My roommate has a brother who at that time was a pre-junior who had done 2 internships at Touche Ross, which was at that time one of the big 8 firms, because that's how old I am, the grade of them. And I had dinner with him one night, and he said, well, it's really tough to get a job here. You have to have like a 3.5 GPA. And that was a stunning revelation. So I didn't realize that in order to get a good job, I was going to have to get good grades. And that really, turned it around for me. And if I was at any school other than Drexel, I probably would have just, drifted. But that made me work a lot harder. The other thing that happened was after 3 co-ops in accounting, I realized that's not what I wanted to do. That's not where my passion was. And sometimes not knowing, knowing what you don't like is just as important as knowing what you like. So after, I did an abrupt turn. I decided I wanted to go to business school. I applied to Wharton and got in. But again, it was largely because of the co-op experience that I got into Wharton, because they generally don't like to accept people who don't have any work experience, and the co-op counted as work experience. And also Drexel at that time was flexible enough to let me skip my last co-op, study for the CPA exam, give me credit for that, and also audit some courses at U of Penn there, and actually take exams at Drexel. So I got a lot of flexibility. So I really do owe a lot to Drexel. When I look back on my career, it's there's a lot of good memories. And if there was just a couple things I can impart to you, as you go out there, and there's a lot of younger people who work at Janney, and the ones who are most successful are the ones who have passion for what they do. They continually want to learn. They want to treat it as a career, not a job. That's really important. They're humble, even if they're smart. They're humble. They don't care who gets the credit. They just want to get the job done. And those are all important attributes. And really important is their attitudes. The ones who have the great attitudes are successful. And one quick example, we unfortunately had a downsizing about 2 months ago. And one group that had 4 people in it, there were 3 people left. Of the 3 people left, they were all probably 25, 26 years old. One of the guys said, okay, whatever, it's his favorite word, whatever, I'm just going on, I'll continue to do what I'm doing. The second person said, this isn't fair. Now I have to do more work. It's not fair. How come another group didn't get downsized? How come it was us? And the third person said, this is a great opportunity for me. I'm really excited about this. I'm going to get to learn a lot more. Guess which one got the bigger raise and the bigger bonus. So, a lot of it is about attitude, and it's really an important thing. And I'll leave you with one final thought, and then I'll stop talking so you can go back to eating and drinking, which I know is important, is that there was one person who left me. She was working for me, and she was probably 55 years old, got struck down. She had chronic arthritis, couldn't really work anymore. The doctor told her, you have to stop. You can't even get out of bed every day. It's literally killing you. And I remember she came in my office her last day, and she said to me, she said, I know, you're having a good time here, and what you do is important, and, you've done this, that, and the other, whatever it was. She said, but that's not really the important thing. The important thing is that one of these days you're not going to be here anymore. And how do you want to be remembered? And I said, well, I made something up at the time, like I'm good at doing. And she said, you're going to be, you're going to be remembered by, this is really morose, but it's interesting. She said, you're going to be remembered by what's on your tombstone. And I said, what do you mean by that? She said, David, this is important, your career is important, but it's not life and death. She said, how you're remembered is, your tombstone, your father, son, brother, grandfather, uncle, and that's really the important stuff in life. This is important, but that's the real important stuff. So take this seriously, it's real, but at the end of the day, being a good person and being with your family and friends is really the most important thing. So with that, I'm going to stop talking. I'll turn it back to the dean, and I'll be around for a while if anybody wants to talk.
Thank you, David. David, thank you so much for spending some time with the students, and we appreciate all you do for the college. And Lisa, I'm sorry, I'll never make that mistake again. Lois.
I once had a girlfriend.
I do want to acknowledge the people who put this on.